MTG Scoundrels. It's in the cardboard.
Ladies and gentlemen, scoundrels of all ages, welcome back to another episode of Modern Weekly. Today on the docket, we have Black-White Blink against Esper Ketramose, and we're already getting started. Marsh Flat's getting cracked. Going to 17. Looks like a watery grave there. And this will be a turn 1 Thoughtseize. A lot of options to pick from here. I see 2 Fatal Pushes, an Aether Vial, an Aven Interrupter, and an Ephemerate, looks like. Tough decision. Looks like taking the Aven Interrupter here. Definitely an interesting decision. Not a lot of good options, though. Taking the Ephemerate or taking the Vial might have been the correct thing to do here. Taking the Ephemerate just makes most of the removal options less potent. There's a Mr. Rainforest. That's going to get cracked. We'll go to 20 to 12. Finding a Hollowed Fountain. And there is a Psychic Frog and a pass of the turn. Silent Clearing for land for turn. Taking 1. Frog is going to get pushed. And passing. Looks like Vial is on 1 there. Polluted Delta getting cracked. Finding in Undercity Sewers. Surveil incoming. Deciding to put the Spell Snare into the bin. And that would be wide. Here is a Murktide Regent. Currently just a 5/5. Vial is on 2. There is an Overlord of the Balemark. Taking 1. Milling over the Solitude here. Solitude going to get taken. And of course the Overlord being cast for its impending cost, so it will have 5 impending counters here, essentially suspending the spell in terms of it becoming a creature. And the Ephemerate's going to get exiled. Solitude is going to get cast for its evoke cost, getting rid of the Murktide. That'll bring us to 18 to 16. And passing the turn. There is a Nile Spellbomb. and passing. End step, activating the Aether Vial, putting in Failure, keeping the vial on 2 here. Going to combat, the Fatal Push is going to deal with the Failure, and passing. Nothing to do here. Oh, end step, activating Vial, putting in Orcish Bowmaster. Okay. So there is a discussion here. And things to remember about activating the Nile Spell Bomb. Obviously here, they know that it's an Orcish Bowmaster's, but the time you have to respond to not get hit by Orcish Bowmaster is as the vial is being activated. Or in response to the activation, excuse me. So now the Bowmaster will come in. And it looks like they're still having a discussion about it. Obviously at a tournament level, you would expect to be able to catch that. Or specifically, you would want to make sure you do it in response to the Aether Vial activation. If you're wanting to draw the card anyway. So only 1 counter on the Orc army. Untapping. Vial goes to 3. Getting in for 2. That'll bring us to 18 to 13. And passing. Marsh Flats pass. Aether Vial getting activated. On the end step, there's Flicker Wisp. Targeting the Overlord. Or excuse me, this isn't the end step. This is the end of the second main phase. Because the Overlord's going to come back on the end step. Confusing there, but you kind of have to make sure you pay attention of when phases end. And this black-white blink deck really takes advantage of that. Flicker Wisp getting taken here. Untapping. Oh, and there's an Ephemerate. There's Shoot the Sheriff on the Overlord. In response, a couple different options here. Flicker Wisp being shown on the Aether Vial activation. And we'll scoop it up. Game 1 going to Black-White Blink. Thank you all so much for watching us here at MTG Scoundrels. If you enjoy our content, please like and subscribe. Be a friend, tell a friend. go ahead and get into our ads. Of course, we have our friends over at Arcane Artistry who make wonderful food, clue, and treasure tokens in the stained glass style. Definitely check them out. Link in the description below. If you put all the arts together, they do in fact make a panorama, which is definitely neat. Well-made acrylic tokens from our friends over at Arcane Artistry. Etsy link in the description below. And if you are looking to pick up some singles, definitely check out hosts of our channel and sponsors, Grove Warden Games. A wonderful place to store them out. TCG player link and store link in the description. And if you're looking for artwork for your channel, artwork as a gift for a friend, artwork for almost anything really, check out our friend Chandrar. They make wonderful art, made art for this channel. Their email in the description. They are open to new projects. And last but not least, check out our socials. Of course, we're on Twitter, Blue Sky, and Facebook as MTG Scoundrels. If you look us up there, you'll find us. So definitely check us out. Also, for those that have been watching my monologue series, thank you so much for watching and enjoying it. Of course, we go ahead and do it in these videos, and then I post them as separate videos later in the week. So I don't see how this into this with these results is okay for Modern. Normally I would say one tournament isn't enough to ban a card. However, this has been multiple challenges, multiple tournaments. Breach is just the best performing deck in Modern, and by a large margin. It doesn't have a bad matchup now with Mox Opal being unbanned. At RC Portland, it was half of the top 32. At RC Charlotte, it was 6 of the top 8, 3 of the top 4, in the 2 final decks. Something needs to be done about it. And I know, we have a lame duck month coming up, but I feel like we've had a lame duck month in every major Modern season recently. And I know that gets a little tiresome for us content creators because we definitely see, to a certain extent, which, boo-hoo, us content creators. But I think we see the ebbs and flows of the Modern format better than most. And I know I definitely see it more because I'm playing it and broadcasting it from a paper event every single week. And Breach in general is a deck that, while we do see a little bit of it around, people have not bought into around our store simply because of how A, expensive Mox Opal is, and B, because it's clearly broken and we are trying to cultivate an ecosystem that doesn't make people not want to show up because of how oppressive a deck is. And that changes based on things such as RCQ season, because to a certain extent, we know what we're all trying to do. We're trying to play our favorite decks and or our best decks to try to win RCQs, place at RCQs, get to regional championships. That's obvious. But something needs to go. I've been banging my head against this for about, I'd almost say, a month now. And obviously things change. We had a new set printed. The next set could have something that could be something to attack the format and really be positive and really put Breach on its heels. But I don't think that's going to be the case. And on top of that, when you've limited yourself to only having these set dates of ban and restricted announcements, you really are setting yourself up for failure, and you're setting yourself up for people to really not enjoy the format of the RCQ that's coming up here shortly. And we are back in it here. Looks like both players keeping 7. Starting with an Undercity Sewers, that'll surveil. Keeping it on top, passing the turn. There's a Godless Shrine into an Aether Vial. That'll be 18 to 20. Untapping, drawing. Marsh Flats getting cracked. Finding a Hollow Fountain. That'll bring us to 18-17. And there's a Thoughtseize. A lot of cards here. Ephemerate, Solitude, Emperor of Bones, Fatal Push, and a Skyclave Apparition. In some ways, your best option here is actually to take the Ephemerate. Ooh, taking the Solitude. I mean, if you have a way to exile it, that's not bad. I'll bring us to 18 to 15. Into a Prismatic Ending to exile the Aether Vial. Marsh Flats for turn. Marsh Flat's going to get cracked here. Finding a Godless Shrine, bringing us to 15 all. And there's an Overlord of the Balemark. Well, 2 Orcish Bowmasters, but we'll probably take the Solitude here. And passing the turn. That is quite the top deck. Saying go. Or maybe not yet. Never mind. Gonna go ahead and play land for turn. Misread the hand gesture. My apologies. Nile Spellbomb coming in. And there's the pass. There is an Emperor of Bones. Beginning of combat, Emperor of Bones going to exile the Orcish Bowmaster and pass the turn. Push is going to take care of the Emperor of Bones. And of course, fetching here on end step as well. Finding another Undercity Sewers. The Esper Ketramose player, well aware that there's an Ephemerate in hand and a Solitude in hand. Putting a land into the bin. land for turn is Polluted Delta. There is a Psychic Frog. Polluted Delta going to get cracked. Finding an island. Into a Murktide Regent. Which, I mean, that's putting a lot of cards into exile. So if you find Ketramose, Ketramose immediately gets online as a 6/6 Murktide. No mana up, and no cards in hand for the Ketramose player. Skyclave getting exiled. There's the Solitude. Exiling the Murktide, Evoke trigger on the stack, Ephemerate. That'll deal with the Psychic Frog. So gaining 5 life here. No, put us to 15 to 20. Well, excuse me, gaining 7 life here. And passing the turn. There's a Psychic Frog. Could possibly get the Esper Ketramose player back into this game. But that Ephemerate is going to take care of the Psychic Frog. I'll bring us to 15 to 21. Just an embarrassment of riches for the black-white blink player, as tends to be the case. Nile Spellbomb is going to get activated here to exile the bin on the Overlord cast. 4 cards going to the bin. Looks like a Vindicate, a Path to Exile, and an Aether Vial. Solitude, of course, couldn't attack there because it was ephemerated in. Ooh, and there's an Exorcise. Powerful new sideboard tech from Duskmourn. That'll deal with one of the Overlords. Ooh, Bogart Trawler drawn. Taking 3. Solitude getting in for 3. That'll bring us to 15 to 18. And there is a Flicker Wisp on the Overlord. And the Ketramose player will scoop him up. Game, set, match going to Black-White Blink. Thank you all so much for watching us here at MTG Scoundrels. If you enjoy our content, please like and subscribe, be a friend, tell a friend. And we will see you all next week.